As well as rocking out in '95, we loved to dive into perfect pop. And the Lightning Seeds brought the feel-good vibes with their Top of the Pops debut, despite having had hits since 1989.
I had a song called Pure. I'd recorded it at home in the spare room, so it was just myself playing and singing, you know, so there's no one else on that record.
Nighttime slows, raindrops splash rainbow.
And we had a few hundred pressed up, and then we just kept having to restock, and it kind of went on for months, and then eventually it became a hit, and in a way changed my life completely. I grew up in Liverpool, and the first bands I was in were all centred around a club called Eric's, which was kind of a lot of misfits who probably just liked the Velvet Underground. That was what they had in common, really. My first group, really, I would say, was called Big in Japan. We didn't do that many gigs, and we weren't very good, and we didn't last long, but we had great intentions. And then from then, my friends were all forming groups, and I kind of got roped in to produce a group called Echo and the Bunnymen. So I ended up a producer almost by default, and that delayed me to a certain degree. I was producing The Fall, actually. And I'd done a couple of demos, and I'd started to think about, you know, I was getting a bit old, and I thought, I've got to do my songs, you know. And I remember I played them to Mark. And he really encouraged me, and you've got to do this. There were loads of Liverpool bands signing mega expensive deals, but I couldn't do any gigs because there was just me, and I couldn't really find people who I thought I'd be comfortable in a band with. Actually, Mark had suggested I be called the Hordes of Brood, which I wasn't keen on. I thought that's not the name for me. And I was listening actually to a Prince song, Raspberry Beret, and there's a lyric in it where I thought he said, hanging out with the Lightning Seeds, and it was just this great vision of hanging out with this gang called the Lightning Seeds. I thought, they sound like quite cool. And then when I listened again, I realised that he says, the thunder hides what the lightning sees. So then there was a name to put on the single in hope that a band would be created around it.
You better say your prayers, a whisper to the wise.
Suddenly this band existed, and I was being taken to America where, you know, it was all over. I think I just met somebody and was in love. Whenever we had a little tiff, she'd be off in her car, you know. It used to make me really chuckle.
And you know you'll bang on the zeitgeist when your song features in the movie of the year.
I love Clueless. I shouldn't have really done it. It's a very well-observed, fun film, isn't it? It works on, you know, a couple of different levels, and it's kind of like taking the mickey, but at the same time, you know, being it.
Say you don't, but then you do. I'm trying again.
It was like a great year for me, really. Every musician is searching for an audience, really. I was quite removed from it with Pure because it was just video or whatever. But then actually going and being on Top of the Pops and playing shows. It's a wonderful feeling when you feel like you've got an audience and your music is being heard.
If it's really true, oh, look.
It was a right old moment.